Hello everybody, good evening. You're probably wondering what the heck I'm doing on here on a Friday night. Well, I don't want to watch basketball and my husband's working on the house. My cousin was here all day and we spent the whole day together. It was amazing. But tonight I thought I really want to work on this Honey Bunny workshop. And so I decided I'm just going to do it on my live. And that way when you guys get yours in the mail, if you haven't yet, you know, maybe you can pull it out and work with me. So let me just show you what you get. You get a lot of photo placeholders, which I'm going to set aside because I don't always use them. And then you get some of the dots for decoration. And then you get this instruction sheet that shows all three layouts. And, you know, it's just a recipe that you follow to cut your papers out and create your pages. And you can do it step by step and create this just like this. I mean, there's not a lot of play here. You just follow the directions. It even has measurements and everything. But you know what? Sometimes I like to tweak things a little bit. So this one in particular, I'm very interested in because I love this weaving, and so I can't wait to do that. This one's very kind of spring vacation looking, and then this one is just generic, like happy day kind of thing. So I thought I have some really great photos of a baby shower I went to recently. I also have some really great photos of a new baby in our family, and I thought these are so perfect for that. So I'm definitely going to use them, and I don't think I necessarily need to use them for Easter, although I did start cutting out some of my stamp sets with the little bunnies and stuff. This is so cute. I'm tempted to go ahead and make it Easter themed. Anyway, I'm going to put my page protectors aside. I'm going to get out the sheet here, and we're just going to go kind of step by step and do the cuts. Now, one thing that is really helpful when you're doing this is to have a space, 3 piles, one for each 2-page layout. So when you look at these cutting diagrams, this will tell you this is for layout 1, these pieces are for layout 3, and it will tell you which way the paper should be face up and which direction, you know, the pattern should be. These are not directional, but it'll make a difference on the bunnies. For example, you'll want them to be facing upright. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set that to the side here a second. And here is the sticker sheet, which we will not use until, you know, we're ready to put our pages together. So I'm going to set that aside. The very first thing that I like to do is I like to sort the papers in the order that I'm going to cut them. And so we have several sheets of the patterned paper. And so I'm just going to lay this on my trimmer in the order that they need to be cut. So the first thing is to grab the pink and yellow. So here is the pink sheet, the peach sheet, and it will be peach side up. So I'm just laying these in a pile on my trimmer upside down. The next one is the same piece with the yellow side up. And then the next piece after that will be the butterflies with the butterfly side up. Another piece with the butterflies, with the butterfly side up. And then we have the bunnies, which will be, well, I would say is that directional? Yes, it is. It's upright. So at first I thought the bunnies were sideways. I'm like, wait a minute. I guess it doesn't matter. So we're going to have this extra piece of the bunny paper, which I'm just going to set aside for now. And then we are going to cut this specialty paper that comes with this collection. So what they do, they have some special die cuts that are marked. I'm going to go ahead and punch these out. This circle piece. Now on the back of this frame, it says Project 3. So I'm going to put that in my 3 pile. And then this is Project 1. So we'll put that in my 1 pile. Okay. And then we have another set of die cuts here. And tonight, I probably won't get through the whole thing. I'll probably just do Project 1. So I'm going to go through, actually, I'm not sure I'm going to use all the pieces, but I'm going to go ahead and punch out the Project 1 pieces. And there's only like 4, I think. Here's one at the bottom. And there's a little tab down here. And that is all of Project 1 that I see. So these I'm going to set aside with my sticker sheet for now, because these are for the Project 2 and 3. And I'm going to put this in my Project 1 pile just so I don't lose them. All right. So the next piece that we have in here, let's just flip through. We have a couple of pieces that are sort of a super light pink wash. And then we have this blue cloud piece. There's 2 of them that are special to this collection, to this workshop. And then we have all the cardstocks. So let me just sort of fan these out a little bit. So we can grab them. The next piece that we're going to cut is a piece of that exclusive cloud cardstock. And so I'm going to put it on my trimmer pile. Flip the page, and then we're going into the cardstocks. So we need a piece of the honey butter, which is the yellow, and it is going to go light side up. So with Close to My Heart, as you know, it's 2-sided, and the dark side is the true color of honey butter, and the light side is just a lighter version of it. So we're going to put it light side up, and we're going to do the next cut, which is a honey butter with the light side up. So you just double check it, make sure it's light side up. Now there's a couple of blues in here, and I want to show them to you. Can't pick up anything today. All right. So we have this really pale, and then this color here. And so in here you'll have the 2 of them that are blue are Glacier. This one is Seabrook. So we need our 2 Glacier cardstocks, and we are going to trim those with the dark side up. So put that onto your trimmer, those 2 pieces. And then we need Peach. we need, the next two cuts will be peach, and they will both be dark side up. There you can see the two colors pretty easily. So we want the dark side up on the cutting. And finally, we need sage. This darker green is sage. This is Seabrook. This is sage. And sage, we need the dark side up on the cutting. And then we need one piece of white daisy. Now, you only have one piece of white daisy in your kit, and it's not two-sided. Just be careful that you're not grabbing that real pale pink wash and putting that on your trimmer, because that'll be used on a page, on one of the pages. Okay. The other thing that I want to do with the rest of these is that I want to sort the rest of these papers out into projects 1, 2, and 3, just to get them out of the way. So if you read the directions on the left and the right side of project 1, uses this really pretty peach wash. So that's project 1. And then that's left and right. And then project 2, we're going to use the sage cardstock and the sage cardstock. So project 2 will have these two pieces of the green as the base. And then for project 3, we're going to do a cloud, the cloud piece that we punched out for the base on the left side, and Seabrook for the base on the right. Okay, so we have a couple of pieces that we're going to use for project 3. Okay, now we are ready to start cutting. All right, so I'm going to put my instructions here to the side. I'm going to put my trimmer here. I want to make sure that it's high enough for you to see what I'm doing. That's pretty good. The trimmer that I use is a guillotine style trimmer, and I tend to be very quick with it, and so I just want you to know you can use any trimmer you want, of course. For each piece, we're going to start by cutting off the zip strips as we go. And here is my stack that's in order of cutting. Okay, so you should have peach, yellow, butterfly, butterfly, bunny, upright, the cloud, honey butter light, glacier dark, peach dark, sage dark, and then white daisy. There's your order. I'm gonna put that to the side so I can grab them. And this is how I do all my workshops. I just sort of start by putting everything in order and just getting organized. It just makes it go faster, okay? Now, I'm gonna take all my zip strips and I'm just gonna pile them up over here to the side and, you know, make a stack, okay? And that way, we can pull those out as we need to, right? Now this is non-directional. It doesn't matter what's up, what's down, sideways, left, right, whatever. But basically we need 2 4x12 pieces. So I'm gonna move this to the 8-inch mark and chop, and then I'm gonna move it to the 4-inch and chop. And what that does is it gives me 2 4x12 pieces. And these 2 go in project number 1. What you're left with is this 4-inch piece, and we need 2 inches cut off of that. So I'm going to slide it to the 2-inch mark. So the 2-inch by 12-inch goes in project 3. And then this last piece we cut at 11 and a half. We turn it, we rotate it, and cut it at 11 and a half. And this piece goes in project 3. This little piece is a scrap. And so I like to keep all my scraps in a pile because you never know when you can use them for a card or something, right? Okay, we're gonna pull on our dotted honey butter piece, and I'm gonna cut the zip strip off first. And it is another floral pattern. Put that in my pile over here. Okay, so now the first thing, this is non-directional. I always double check, right? We need a 1-inch piece. So I'm gonna, what I do is it's at 12 here. I slide it to 11, which means there's a 1-inch piece hanging off the side. That's how I do my trimmer. This piece right here is, it is marked as 1G, and it will go into the number 1 pile. The next piece we need is a 1/2 inch. So I'm just gonna slide it from 11. I'm gonna slide it over a 1/2 inch to the 10 and a half mark and chop. And this piece right here also goes in pile 1. Okay, now we need a 2.5 inch piece. So I'm gonna slide it over. There's 1, there's 2.5. That's the 8-inch mark, chop. And we need another 2.5 inch piece. So that'll go to the 5.5 inch mark. These 2 pieces, I'm gonna stack them together and put them in horizontally in my trimmer and cut them both at 10 3/4. 10 3/4. The pieces that chop off the bottom are scraps, and the 10 3/4 pieces go in project number 2. Okay, so I still have this piece left, and the only thing we need left on this, there is a 1 1/4 inch by 10 inch piece. So I'm going to move it over 1 1/4. This is a scrap. I'm putting it off to the side. This 1 1/4 inch piece, I'm going to flip it sideways, and it's going to cut at 10. And this is a scrap. And this piece goes in project 1. Okay, we're done with the first 2 pieces of cutting. There's a lot of cutting in this. And I think sometimes it really helps to have someone to like follow along with when you're cutting. It's a little overwhelming. The next piece we're cutting is the butterflies, and it's butterfly side up. And we're gonna first cut off the little zip strip mark. This one is the bunny strip. I'm gonna put it in my pile over here. And this has no direction to it. Front and back, no direction. So it doesn't matter which way you put it in your trimmer. And the first thing we're gonna do, just follow along with me, is we're gonna cut it at 10, 8, 6, 4, and then I'm going to switch gears on you just a little bit. We're going to cut it at 3, and then at 2.5. All right. Let's look at that pile that we created that fell off my trimmer, and we're just going to take them one at a time. So this 2.5-inch piece. It needs to be put into it horizontally and cut at 10 3/4. And this piece is a scrap. And this piece goes into project number 2. Okay, the next piece in our pile is this little 1/2-inch strip, and it is a scrap. That'll be great for cards or adding on. This 1-inch strip has to be put in the trimmer horizontally and cut at 10 1/2. This piece is a scrap. This piece that's 1 by 10 1/2 will go into project 1. Next, we have a whole bunch of these strips that are 2 inches wide. 2 of them stay 12 inches long. Hi, JJ. I'm just trimming papers down, starting this Honey Bunny workshop tonight. The 2 that are 12 inches long go into project 3, and then you take 2 of them and stack them on top of each other. You should have, come on. Yeah. So the other 2 you stack on top of each other, and you're cutting these at 11 1/2. And these pieces are scraps, and these 11 1/2 pieces go into project number 3. Now, when Close to My Heart cuts these, they always recommend that you label them on the back with what piece they are. But what I find is when I go to make my next, my layout, it's pretty easy to figure out what piece goes where. Unless you're doing a lot of little tiny weird strips that are lots of different sizes. I don't label. Okay, our next piece is a butterfly face up. And it has, I'm cutting off the little bunny zip strip and putting it in my pile off to the side. This is non-directional either way. It doesn't matter which way you put it in here. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to cut a 4-inch piece off, 4 1/4 inch piece. So I'm cutting this at the 8 1/4 or 7 3/4 mark. I'm not trying to confuse you. Okay, and then we need a 2 1/4 inch piece. This entire piece that just fell off is scrap. It is about 5 1/2 inches wide. Total scrap. That'll be great for another project. This strip that is 2 1/4 goes into your chopper horizontal and cut it at 10 3/4. So the piece that fell off is a little scrap, and then this piece goes in project 2. I'm noticing a trend. A lot of project 2 pieces are like 10 3/4. Okay, now this piece has a few cuts. We're gonna put it in horizontally. This piece is the 4 1/4, and the first thing we want is another 4 1/4 piece. So I put it at the 7 3/4 mark. I love the guillotine style trimmers. They're so much faster than those ones where you have to, like the Fiskars one, where you have to flip up the arm to move your paper. And so I really love this. This one I'm cutting at 3 1/2. So now I have 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I want to bet that those are like photo mats or something. These go in project number 2. Now this little piece right here, all we need is a 3/4 by 1 1/2 piece. You know, we have some scraps. Is this 1 1/2? Nope. That's probably why they did it that way. All right, so I'm going to cut, first I'm gonna cut the 3/4 mark. 1, 2, 3. The way I do this is I count from here and I go 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So I just walk it back so there's 3/4 hanging off the side over here, and then I cut. This piece is now a scrap. This is the piece we want though, and we're gonna put it in horizontally and we're gonna cut it at 1.5. So whenever you're using any trimmer, any paper trimmer, this is scrap, you want to try to, get it out of there. You want to try to put your paper in so that it is, bulk of it is on your tray and of the smallest pieces hanging off the edge. It's not good. This goes in project number 3, by the way. That'd be very easy to get lost. It's kind of crazy to cut like this and have this paper all wonky and crazy over here. It's really nice to be able to, like, for example, let me cut the zip strip off of this paper. Just to get that out of the way. It's cute little hearts. This is a directional paper, so keep that in mind. But if you're gonna trim 1 inch off, for example, it is better, we're at the 12-inch mark here, it's better to walk it back 1 inch to 11 and chop than it is to bring this to a 1 inch and try to hold it in place and chop. You just have more security if your paper is on here. Okay, are we ready to make some cuts? Our first cut is going to be 2 inches, so I'm walking it from 12 to 10, chop, and now I need another 2-inch piece, so from 10 to 8, chop. Okay, so I got my 2-inch pieces. Now I need a 1-inch piece. I'm walking it from 8 to 7, chop. And now I need a 3/4 inch piece. So I'm at 7 here. Now I'm gonna go 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. That takes me back 3/4, chop. And now I need another 3/4 inch piece. So 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. What I'm doing is making sure it's close to the edge up here and straight with my line here, and then cutting. And that way I know I'm getting a nice straight cut. Okay, our next piece is 1 3/4. So I'm gonna go, it's at 5.5, so I'm gonna go to 4.5. There's 1 and 1, 2, 3/4. That puts me at 3 3/4. And the next piece I need is 1 1/4. So I go to 1 and 1/4. And the very last piece is 2 inches. So I'm gonna walk it back to the 2-inch mark. So I keep the bulk of it on my tray and chop. The piece I just cut, the one I just cut that fell off, the 1/2 inch, is the only like big scrap out of this. So I'm gonna put that in my scrap pile. And now I'm gonna take my pieces and we're gonna trim them the way they need to be trimmed, okay? So this piece is 2 by 12. This 2 by 12 and this and the other 2 by 12 on the bottom of your pile both go into project 1. No cuts. Let me show you what we have left here. These 2 3/4 inch strips right here, no cuts, go into project number 1. I'm showing these flower up, but it should be bunny up. But make sure your bunnies are up and down when you cut. And then this 1-inch piece, no cuts, with all the bunnies, will go in project number 1. And now we have these 3 different sizes. All of these are going to get trimmed. So let's start with are 2-inch piece, okay? So make sure you've got the 2-inch, 2-inch piece, and turn it horizontal in your trimmer. And this piece is going to be 10 3/4. Trend 10 3/4. This little piece is a scrap, going in the scrap pile. And this piece, surprise, surprise, is going into project 2, where all those other 10 3/4-inch pieces are going. Okay, let's take this one. This one is 1 3/4. Just measure and make sure you've got the 1 3/4-inch width. Put it horizontally, and it is also going to be at 10 3/4. This little piece is a scrap, and this piece is going to project number 2. And finally, you have this little piece that is 1 1/4 inches. We're gonna put it horizontally, and it's gonna go at 10 1/2. This little piece is a scrap, and this piece goes in project number 1. Now, I want to show you something on the directions. If you've never cut one of these workshops before, you will see that some of the letters have a little asterisk after it, and some of them don't. And the way that works is they want you to cut it with the bunnies up and vertical, and cut it directly. It will be used on the bunny side, and then when you see the asterisks, it will be used on the flip side. So that will be the green. This one would be the bunny. This one has an asterisk. So these 3 will be used on the green side. So that's what that means on your directions. Okay? All right. Let's grab our next piece. We're almost ready for cardstock, which is great. This is the exclusive cloud piece. Now, it's directional. It looks like an all-over kind of print, but it is directional. I mean, you want to make sure the clouds are going the right direction. You don't want to cut it upright, right? But anyway, it won't really matter for the cut we're going to make, but I just want you to realize that. So we need to cut a 1/2 inch off of each side, because this needs to be 11 1/2 by 11 1/2. So again, I'm at the 12-inch mark. I'm going to march it back a 1/2 inch, which is 11 1/2, and then I'm going to cut. And that makes this piece a scrap. And then I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to march that 12 inches back to 11 1/2 and cut. And then that's a scrap. So this is an 11 1/2 by 11 1/2, and this goes on project number 3. So all those pieces for number 3, I'm gonna go put in my 3 pile. And we'll flip the page. Now we just have our cardstock left. You know, a lot of the cardstock pieces are photo mats. So if you are someone who wants to really tweak your workshop, really pay attention, look at the layout. Sometimes I'll tear this apart a little bit, like take this staple out, where I can really look at the paper, at the different layouts, and see what items are photo mats. Sometimes I want them, sometimes I don't. So, you know, like this 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 is probably a photo mat. Do you want a yellow photo mat? I mean, if you don't, you could hold off on cutting that until you're ready to put your photos on. Okay, but I'm gonna cut everything. We're gonna start with honey butter cardstock, and we are doing the light side up. Just make sure you've got your light side up, and grain direction doesn't matter because we're not folding today. So these 2 pieces, we need 2 6-inch pieces. So basically we're gonna just put this at 6, make sure it's nice and straight, chop. One of the pieces stays 12 inches in project 3. The other one rotates and gets a little trim at 11 1/2. And then this little pieces of scrap. And so these two pieces, light side up, go into project 3. The next honey butter piece is light side up. Now we have a lot of little cuts on this one. Just make sure you're light side up. And then we're gonna do my marching thing, which is a little weird to watch, I know. But if you're at 12 and you march it back to 11 and a half, you've got a 1/2 inch piece cut. And then we're gonna do another 1/2 inch piece. So I'm gonna march it back to 11, cut. Now I need a 3/4 inch piece. So now I'm going to march it back. Here's a quarter, a quarter, a quarter. That's what I do. 3/4 hanging off the edge of my trimmer, chop. And the only other piece I need out of this is that photo mat, which is 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. So I can cut that 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. I have my photo mat, and these pieces are scraps, great sizes for scraps. This piece goes in project number 1. And now we have those strips. Now I'm just gonna lay them out. Remember, we have the 1/2, and the 3/4. So one of the 1/2 and the 3/4 stay the same, and they go in project number 1. No cuts. But the other 1/2 inch one does need trimmed, and it needs trimmed horizontally at 10 1/2. So we're gonna flip it, turn it, and chop at 10 1/2. The little piece is a scrap, and this piece goes in project number 1. We're making progress. You know, we're cutting those little strips to do that really cool weaving technique. I'm excited about that. Okay, glacier. We have a light side and a dark side. Make sure you're dark up. I had to take a drink. Okay, the first cut, we're going to do these a little slower just so we can sort as we go. We're going to go from 12 to 10 and cut a 2-inch piece. This 2-inch piece goes into project number 3. Okay, we're going to cut another 2-inch piece. So we're going to go from 10 down to 8. There's 9 and there's 8. Chop. And then we need 1/2, 1/2, and 1/2. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. Yep, pretty much. So I'm at 8. I'm going to go to 7 1/2. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then to 7. And then to 6 1/2. I have 3 1/2 inch strips. The very last piece that I have to cut here is 6 1/4 by 8 1/2. So you can cut that any way you want. They show cutting off this giant strip first, but it depends on what size of piece you want left. I'm gonna cut this, I'm gonna turn it and cut it at 8 1/2. So I have this kind of large piece as a scrap. And then this will be 6 1/4. And so I have this little 1/4 inch as a scrap. So this big piece right here goes in project number 2. And now we have these pieces that need some trims. All right, let's start with our 2-inch piece. Just make sure it's 2 inches. We're going to turn it horizontally, and we're going to cut it at 11 1/2. And this piece will go into project 3. Now we have all those little 1/2 inch pieces, and it's a little weird, but 2 of them get cut at 10 3/4. So I'm going to stack them. It's a little awkward to stack ones that are this skinny or whatever, but it'll save a moment. 10 3/4, and this piece goes in project number 2. And then this last 1/2 inch scrap gets cut at 10 1/2. and it goes in project number 1. One of the things I like about this trimmer, these are scraps, is that it can cut slivers perfectly. And you know, the Fiskars trimmer does too, but it just takes a little more effort on my part. This is faster for me. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it. So we have a 12 by 12 piece of glacier with the dark side up. The next piece we cut is a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to walk it back 1/2 inch to 11.5. And see how perfect that is? Look at that. Great. So this it goes into project number 1. And this, we're going to make a couple of photo mats. So if you're not wanting photo mats, you don't want to cut this. But basically, we need 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm just going to cut that 4 1/4. And this piece right here is a big old scrap. I'm going to flip this, and 4 1/4 goes here. I tend to cut it at 8.5 first. I know, but it's just something I've learned. This is scrap. And then I walk it back to 4 1/4, because once you know your measurements really well, it's super easy to march it back into the trimmer and just make your trims a little faster. This is number 2. You may not think this is fast. I've been going on for about 40 minutes, so I don't think that's too bad for all the paper cutting, considering we're down to our last 4 sheets. Okay, we have peach on the dark side. We want the dark side up. Okay, we are going to cut 2 inches, so we're going to march it back to 10 and cut. March it back to 8 and cut another 2-inch piece. And let's just deal with these while we have them. One of them goes into project 3 without any cuts, and one of them needs to be put in the trimmer and cut at 11.5. And it goes into project 3. So we have those 2 cuts done. We have this little scrap. Now we have this big chunk, and this is going to end up being some photo mats. The first photo mat we need 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 pieces. So this is 4 1/4, and we need 4 1/4 off of this one. So what I did is I took this 12-inch and I march it back 4 inches and 1/4. Okay. This piece goes in project number 3. And now I need it at 3 1/4. So I'm going to march it back 3, 1, 2, 3 1/4. This piece goes in project number 3. And now I need another 3 1/4. I'm just going to put it at 3 1/4 and chop it. Okay, this piece goes in project number 3 as well. And then this is scrap. This piece that kind of fell off, this is 3 3/4 inch wide. What we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this and cut it at 4 1/4. And then you've got this giant scrap. And then we're gonna turn it and cut it at 3 1/4. So basically what we did is we cut a whole bunch of, photo mats from this peach paper, and they're all going to be used on project number 3. So like I said, if you are not really loving project number 3 the way it is, it'd be really easy to look at this and go, I think I'll hold off on cutting that and just keep your sheet of peach whole until, you're ready for your photos. All right, peach, dark side up. We're gonna trim it at 4 1/4, turn it and do 6 1/4. And then we have this other photo mat, and it will go in project number 3 as well. And all of this is scrap, which is amazing to have all that. Just think of the cards and things we can make, or another page. Sage is the green color, dark side up. And I'm just gonna walk it back a ½ inch and chop. And this piece that I chopped off goes in project number 1. Another strip for that weaving technique. Okay, and then I'm gonna do another ½ inch. So I'm gonna march it back to 11 and cut. And then I'm gonna deal with this little strip while I have it in my hand. I'm gonna put it in horizontally, and it gets cut at 9.5. This little piece is a scrap, and this 9.5 inch piece goes on project 1. Okay, now we have this giant piece, and basically we need it to be 4 3/4 by 9. So however you want to cut that so that you have leftovers the way you want them. Sometimes I'll even go into my scraps and see if I have a scrap that works so I can save this giant piece of paper. I'm so cheap. All right, let's see. 4 3/4. And this is scrap. And I'm gonna flip it, and 9 3/4. Scrap. This big 4 3/4 by 9 3/4 piece goes in project number 1. And finally, we have White Daisy. Now, let's talk about this. When they have these skinny little strips like this right here that say journaling, that means basically what they do are they're creating some journaling strips for you to write on and put onto your page as a big strip, and you can cut them down. I do not cut journaling strips because if you've ever seen my desk, I have scraps of paper. Let me just show you a pile of papers that I have on my desk. I have scraps on my desk like this all the time of white. And so I can make journaling strips out of my scraps later. I don't need to cut a whole new sheet of paper to make those. And I don't always use them. Sometimes I just write directly on my page. So I'm just gonna cut these 3 pieces. You do what you do, okay? So I'm gonna put this in my trimmer, make sure it's nice and straight. And the first cut that I want is at 3.5. So I'm gonna march this back from 12 to 9. There's 3, and then a ½ inch more, which puts me at 8.5. Chop. I'm gonna do another 3.5 inch cut. So I'm gonna go to 1, 2, 3, and 1/2, which puts me at 5. Chop. And the last little tiny piece that they have us cut is a 2.5 by 2.5 inch square. Now, you can cut it out of this nice big piece, or if you're like me, you got scraps sitting around, I'm gonna save that giant piece and I'm just gonna cut this little scrap at 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. I just hate to waste a whole sheet of White Daisy when I have scraps sitting right next to me. So this is project number 3. Okay, now we got to deal with these 2 that we popped off. These were 3.5 inches wide, and we're gonna stack them, turn them horizontally, and trim these together at 10 3/4. So we have it at 10, and then we go 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then we just chop. Okay, so look, I have more White Daisy to put in my scrap pile. And then these 2 go into project number 2. We're done cutting, people. I'm so happy. So let me just organize my piles just a smidge. All right. So basically, I really want to work on the first layout. The first layout is the one that has the really cool weaving. And I really like how it looks a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all my pile for project 1. And we have a layout 1 and 2 here, right? So I'm basically going to kind of sort the pieces according to which side of the page they go on. Let me just, I'm going to get my instructions straightened out here a minute. My only beef with the Close to My Heart instructions is that they are back to back when you flip them over. You have to take them off, you know, out of the staple or whatever to use it. It's my only beef. Okay, so layout 1 has the big circle. The right page has the big piece of sage. And then, let me just, my fingernails are so rounded with all the nail polish on them that I can't pick anything up today. I feel very, like, incapacitated or whatever. We have a peach piece on each side. They're the same size, it appears. One on each side. And then we have a couple of pieces of bunnies that will go like one here, and where's the other one? One here. And then, so this is our general layout. And then we have a lot of strips. This piece will go here. Look at our strips, wild. So the wider strips, the big ones like this, are going to end up being bannered on the right side. In other words, we're going to cut like a little V out of them. So we have a honey butter strip here, and we have a strip over here, and sorry, I'm like, it's hard to sort and talk at the same time. Off camera, apparently, I am sorting my strips so I can tell what size they are. We have a little glacier kind of strip over here also. So this side, we have those main strips. And then we have the little smaller sage strip also. So we have some strips over here. There's also a sticker strip, it looks like. Cool. Like the yellow. There's a yellow on each side. Yellow and yellow and honey butter. Wow. Maybe I should have done these, right? I should have labeled them. This one will have this here. Okay. And most of them are over here now. We have this one over here. Yes, yes, yes. And a pink. Okay. That's why, because I had it flipped. I flipped it. All right, there we go. Cool. This is gonna end up being very cool looking. I'm pretty impressed. All right, it looks like that. I believe I'm close, or I'm close if I'm not right on. I think I might start with this right side because the right side has a little less work. So let's start by putting on the pieces that we know. We know these basic pieces. So I'm going to put on the peach. And this one is going to go all the way to the right side and butt up to the corner. And then we have a set of the bunnies right next to it. And it just butts right up. Just make sure your bunnies are right side up. Like that. Okay. And then there's a sticker that goes right here. Let me grab my sticker sheet. See these leaf borders right here at the top? We're going to take one of those. And this leaf border is just going to go right next to the bunnies. When I put on these long stickers like this, I try to walk them up the page, but otherwise I get them so crooked. So there we go, just like that. All right, now the other thing about this page that is kind of cool is it has these dovetailed pieces over here. And so we're going to take the pieces that are dovetailed. We know we want one of these, and one of these, all dovetailed. And so let me get out my scissors and take care of those. You guys, I don't know what kind of weather you're getting, but it was like in the 60s for a while today. And then all of a sudden right now it is blustery. I don't know. I didn't watch the weather, but I have a feeling we're in for a storm tonight. It is like, I can hear it like kind of almost howling outside. Okay, so there are the 3 dovetail strips. And because we're going to weave these, we don't want to adhere them down, okay? You really only want to put them down on one side, all right? So, 1, 2, 3. I'm just double checking my instructions. So this piece shows, we're going to start with the yellow one because they have a measurement for that one. I'm just putting a little adhesive just on this right hand side, and this is going to go 1 inch from the bottom. Now you can get out your measuring tape if you want. I'm just going to eyeball that. I tend to be fairly close, 1 inch. And then this piece goes next, and I'm just going to leave a tiny bit of a gap between them. And then this bunny piece, it gets flipped to the green side, and it goes about the same gap there. So I'm just leaving a gap between each piece. All right, and then it says to attach the sticker border to the yellow. All right, so now we have the ones that are going to be going up and down, and there is a border. Okay, if you look at the sticker sheet, there's eggs and then a stitch and then eggs and then a stitch. And we want the stitch sticker. And this piece is going to go onto this honey butter on the light side, right down the center. Just like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously mine is not. Like I said, these little skinny stickers, I have a tendency to get them all crooked. I have to constantly readjust these because they're hard to straighten. Okay, now we're going to dovetail these stickers. I feel like I have a shorter one of these. Hold on a minute. Let me just check. I think I have a short one. I don't, instead of the 12 by 12, I'm going to do one of the shorter ones. Hold on a minute. Yeah, the short one. And again, I'm going to take the stitched piece sticker and go right up the center. See if I can do this right up the center. Like I said, crooked, crooked. Hi, Heather. Not watching basketball tonight, anyone? I'm shocked. I'm just, Steve is messing around with the TV tonight. We had this has been a heck of a week, you guys. I'm just going to dovetail these. So one thing that happened to us I think I told you about a week and a half ago, we had a drain pipe burst in our house. Yay. And it was quite the mess. And so our house we have like a giant hole that we had to cut in our drywall in our bedroom because it was in the wall between the bedroom and the bathroom. And here's another one. I know I have a shorter one. Hold on a sec. And so it's been, I guess not. I thought I did. It's been a challenge. Sorry, I'm just looking for my pieces here. Okay. So after that happened and we got all the plumber paid off, it wasn't terrible. They were out at our house for a total of about 8 or 9 hours and over 4 different days, and it cost us about $850, which I thought was really good because they charge like $125 an hour. So, you know, we were anticipating just labor, you know, to be outrageous. So that's been a challenge. And so we had, after they finally finished and everything done, our kitchen faucet, for some reason, you know how that you swivel it from the sink, this side of the sink to this side of the sink? When we were doing that, the whole thing popped loose at the base and just, it's all floppy. You can still run water through it, but you can't, you have to hold the faucet up while you're running water. I'm like, okay, this is nuts. Just nuts. So yeah, it did not make me very happy. Okay, this goes over this green, under this green, over this yellow, and it's gonna end up going to about here. So I'm just gonna lay it in place. I haven't put any glue. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun week. Ugh. So now we had to call our plumber guy, and This one goes like this. And under the yellow. There we go. Just like that. This is kind of a cool pattern. I'm kind of liking this. I just have to like concentrate for a minute. Anyway, so our plumber is coming back. He's like, oh yeah, your kitchen faucet. Sure. Oh my God. And then while we have him replace, we bought a new kitchen faucet. Then we found out for the super high quality ones that supposedly have like lifetime warranties, they apparently only last 5 or 6 years, even with a lifetime warranty now. They just don't make them very well. And I'm like, that's not a shocker to me. It's just not a surprise. So yeah, that's been a reality check. I'm going to use my liquid glue on this just for the ease of it. I think I should have started with an easier layout because I'm sitting here messing around while I talk. I'm just going to tack it down here at the end, and I'm going to push it as far over as I can. I think they had it 1/2 inch, but I put a lot of adhesive right there, so mine's going to be a little, like more like 3/4 of an inch over. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little glue here and a little at the top. There. So we decided, okay, it's going to take, it was like a week and a half. Like we could not get our faucet until next Friday. So we're going without, we had a kitchen sink faucet in place, but it is laying in the sink, and in order to run water, you got to hold it up in the air and turn it on, and then use it, and then turn it off, and then lay it back down. It is the weirdest problem. I've never had a kitchen faucet go bad before. I didn't realize what a hassle it is. And so, yeah, we're not happy. And if we were better plumbers, we'd probably just, you know, re-adhere it to the sink and be done with it. But our kitchen faucet, the plumber guy is like, you remodeled long enough ago that you're probably close to needing a new one anyway. With the lifetime warranties that these faucets have now, they're just not the same quality as they used to be. So yay, 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 yay. Isn't this cute? I'm liking this look. Okay, third strip. I'm gonna put this on at the bottom, and then I'm gonna pull this back, and let's put some glue all the way down. And remember, you also have to remember that I don't have any glue on these either. Remember, I only have glue here, here, here. Now these are all the way up. And now I need to do this, but it looks like there's also an Easter egg strip right here that just gets laid across and dovetailed. Ooh, do I want to use Easter eggs on this page? Do I want it to be Eastery? Now's the time. I need to decide because all my layers are going to be Eastery. I think I will make it Eastery. I did cut out some of my cool stamps that are Easter themed. Is it snowing up there, Heather? There was flurries here this morning. It was so cold, and then it got so warm. There was a lady outside across the street cleaning out her car, and she was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Can you believe it? It snowed this morning, and then it got so warm she was wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and they were vacuuming out their car. And now it's like blustery. I mean, like the wind is intense. Intense. Okay, let's do this Easter sticker. So what I want to do is I want to dovetail one end of it. And then it lays right here between the sage and the yellow. And just lays across. And then we'll just trim this side. There. So, let me see. Any chance it's a Kohler? No, this is a weird thing, but we have two different plumbers that we use, and both of them will only use Delta. They're very strict about it. As a matter of fact, we had purchased a very expensive faucet for our bathroom next door, and he made us go exchange it for a Delta. We have a big plumbing supply place in Champaign, and they won't sell. They only sell like 2 or 3 brands because they're made so crummy now. Can you believe that? Okay. We're all done with the weaving. This page has the sage piece with the 3 photos, and then it has that little tiny scallop, and it says Easter blessings. And then there's a little couple of stickers up at the top. I think I'm going to go ahead and at least put this on. And you know what? I think I'm going to pop this up on foam tape. You know, that is unusual for me to do, but especially such a big piece because it uses so much foam. But I'm going to do it because I think it needs the dimension. And I recently renewed my wagon wheel of foam tape when I went to the expo. You can get like a big old wagon wheel of foam tape for like $11.99 online. And so I'm always watching for deals on these giant, humongo pieces, you know, foam tape things because I don't like to pay the money for them. Most of the time you can get a great big one. I want to say it's like 30, is it 30 feet? I can't remember. I'm terrible at remembering stuff like that, but you can get that for like anywhere between $12 and $18. You know, depends on where you go. An entire faucet. Yeah, I just know, boy, neither one of our plumbers will do anything but Delta. So, and then when you go to the plumbing supply store where they sell, you know, wholesale to the plumbers, of course they sell retail to us because we're not plumbers, but it's not very well known from, you know, by the rest of us. So it's not real busy with like normal people. It's typically mostly just the trade people in there. But yeah, they just won't use anything else. Okay, so we're gonna put the little blue tab here, the little going hunting here. Oh, that is really cute. And then under here is one of those cutout pieces. You know, the little cutouts that we have one here, and this gets tucked under. Now I'm just going to use liquid glue on that. So you know what I normally do on Friday nights like this when I'm looking for like some crafty thing to do is I typically watch Stamplistic online because they have a class every other week. I don't really want it to overlap by that much. Let me get a skinnier tape. Here we go. I'm gonna use skinny tape. Stamplistic Online does a class every other week. You've seen my cards, JJ, I'm sure. And I really like watching them do all their cutting, and I like to craft while they're doing their thing. Okay, I'm going to unstickify the sticker at the top. I want to be able to tuck my photo behind it, but this part with the foam tape is going to go here, and that way I'll be able to put my photo behind it without hassle. It may stick a little bit, but I'll be able to get my photo behind it. And I never know, I don't always use the photo like placeholders here, because sometimes I'll use a couple of 4x4s instead, or I'll use a horizontal thing and then journal here or something. I don't always do the photos the way they show them in here. That's why I always set those aside, because you just don't know. And then I'm not sure how I'm going to decorate this yet. As a matter of fact, I was kind of thinking about whether I needed to sponge the edges with a color, or if I, what I want to do with that. So I'm not going to put the banner on yet. I'm not sure that's the direction I want to go. But there is page 1, right side. So now let's do this more complicated left side. Ugh. Hold on. It helps when I don't throw things all over the floor. So let's see here. Maybe the right side's not as complicated as I think, but it looks to me like basically we're going to use this circle and build our pieces on it and then put the circle on. So, no fingernails. I'm going to move this off to the side for a moment, and we're going to put our pieces on. Let's see. Yeah, Stamplistic is, I'm going to lower this just a smidge so I can see the comments better. Yeah, Stamplistic is the lady who does those cards with all the bling, and she does all the fussy cutting, and oh my gosh, they're so much fun. So much fun. Oh, I'll show you the one I made not very long ago. Hold on. I obviously enjoy her classes, and they have such fun cards, and then you can't see it very well, but these are Swarovski crystals on here, and they're just so pretty. When they catch the light, they're just gorgeous. So these cards are a lot of fun to make, and I know these are, it costs, the class kits, you can make, I think usually you make like 3 cards, and they're all a little different, and it's like $30. So, it's not like cheap, but these are so much fun, and it's a community. You start to get to know the people in the class. So it's just something that I've been doing for a number of years, and I used to take their classes at the expos when I went, and they've just started going back in person to the expos again. Okay, we're gonna go back to that leafy sticker. I'm going to crawl that up. So I do know how to spend money, that's for sure. I mean, I love crafting and I love making cards and pages and stuff. And obviously close to my heart is so special to me, but I do a lot of other company things too, so. Okay, let me just peek here. All right, I think I'm gonna do the weaving on the circle before I attach the circle. So let's get that out. And kind of put those off to the side. This will go on last. Set it to the side. All right, let's see how they have this. So why don't we do the up and down ones first? I think I'll be able to keep them straight. We'll see. Time will tell. All right, so we have a blue that'll go upright here. And then we have our cool yellow one with the sticker on it. And then we have a wide green one. And then we have a sage strip. Okay, do I want to stick those down? Let me make sure the bottoms are right. We have a honey butter. We have another honey butter. We have a green. And a sideways bunny print. Why did they do that? And a pink. Okay. Yep, we are set. All right. Ta-da. So I'm going to, again, I'm just going to attach these at the top. And try to make them about 1/8 of an inch apart. I'm just guessing. It's what it looks like on the page. I'm close enough. All right, I gotta straighten those back out because I goofed them up. I moved them around. There's that, and that. Pretty good. Okay, stomp. Push those down. Hi, Crystal. Not watching any basketball tonight? That was the discussion all day, everywhere we went. Everybody was making plans of going to sports bars and wanting to watch basketball. That was the discussion today. So interesting. So interesting. All right. The first piece under the green, over that one, under the yellow, over that one. And it goes about 1 inch from the bottom of the circle. Can you see that okay? Right there. Okay. Just making sure. And then I am going to go ahead and just, oh, I can't glue that down yet. I got to do the top first. Dang. Okay. I'm going to lay these out. The next one will be this one, and it's going to go over, under, over. I should have done the top before the bottom. All right. And then we have the green, which will go under, over, under. I feel like I'm doing this the hard way, right? I'm doing this the hardest possible way, but it looks so cool when it's all done. I love that. Okay. And then we go over and under. Do you guys remember like back in the, was it 90s when we used to make like baskets and stuff? You'd have to do all this weaving. I think I might turn this one this way instead. I don't know if the bunnies, I don't know how I feel about these bunnies being sideways, but okay. Okay, this will be over. We'll do the opposite. One thing about the Close to My Heart workshops that is a real bummer is that I'm gonna miss them. I'm gonna miss them bad because they always have something on here like this that's a little different, something you wouldn't normally do on your own. I would not normally do this. I might in the future, I don't know. But it is kind of a thing to have something unique. Okay, I'm gonna put that down. And then I am going to go ahead and lift this and put a little glue on the underside. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to do the yellow. It does help to have some, I would think glue dots would work really good for this too. You know, glue dots instead of liquid glue maybe. I don't know, I like the liquid glue a lot. Oh, the news today, this weekend, is actually the founder meeting. So founders with Close to My Heart, you know, are people who are the higher sellers in the company, and they had a scheduled founders meeting before the announcement. Okay, so it was gonna happen anyway. They meet a few times a year, and Close to My Heart takes advantage of that time to get their input and make sure, you know, things are going in the right direction, and make sure that, am I going way crooked? Is it just me? I think I am a little crooked. Anyway, you know, get ideas for the future. What would you like to see? What do you think your customers are, you know, going for? That kind of thing. And this, after the announcement, they changed it to Stampin' Up! Kind of running the meeting. And they shared the agenda with us of what they are going, whoops, I didn't get glue underneath there very good. And the agenda was, you know, like an overview of what Stampin' Up! Is about and the mission and all of that. Like they literally are talking about the Stampin' Up! Company, like a lot of the day, questions and answers, how everything works. And then it looks like lots of time to discuss plans for the future. And they're gonna, look at how cool that is. I think, let me just kind of look on the back and make sure I attached everything. Looks like that green piece could use a little bit of glue. Okay. That all looks good. Okay, now I could just wrap it around, but I'm gonna trim because I don't want all these pieces hanging out. So anyway, so my upline put a message on our group page today and said everything looks really amazing so far, and she had exclamation points. So that's good news, right? I mean, you know, I don't know who's a Stampin' Up! Fan, who loves it, who doesn't love it, or whatever, but, you know, just the fact that they're, everything has been kind of a positive change or a positive outlook, makes me feel really good. Even whether I do or don't sign up, I'll definitely be a customer if I don't sign up, because I want to make sure that I get all the new cool, close to my heart items that Stampin' Up! Is investing in. Look at that. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I really love that. All right, the other thing that's on here is that Easter egg border again. So I'm gonna grab the Easter eggs. And it looks like it goes right here. So I'm just gonna put it there. Just trying to make it even. I don't know why. I don't think all my other stuff is necessarily all even, but I'm trying. I'm trying. I don't think it's gonna matter when the page is done. I'm looking at the clock. What time is it? Oh, now see, I've been going an hour and a half. So I'm almost done with page 1. All the trimming and everything for page 1. I'm not doing too terrible. Okay. Let's pull this back in here. This goes here. I can't wait either, Heather. It is going to be so interesting. And from what I understand, this looks like it goes in here. So I think I'll just put this on first. It sounds like, okay, and don't quote me. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not like one of the insider people, but just based on what Monica kind of implied and has hinted at and some of the things she said, it sounds like they are very interested in, I'm going to do the foam tape thing again, the scrapbooking programs. So how long will that continue? Is that just May, June collection? I don't think so. But it sounds like some of the 12 by 12 workshops and it just sounds like maybe the albums and page protectors or something like that. And then I think they can't do that well without the flip-flaps. The flip-flaps are one of the biggest close to my heart sellers, and so I just can't imagine that they won't be selling those. So we'll see, but it's exciting to think about, isn't it? It's a fun thing to anticipate. All right, I have this goes here. Let's see, it's around here. And it goes a little low on the page, like there. Good enough. Okay. And then I gotta put this thing on. I'm gonna use regular adhesive for that. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where these two pieces go. This one and this one. I haven't seen them yet, so I'm gonna do a closer peek at that. And this looks like it goes about an inch from the top. And I want to make sure it's somewhat straight looking. Okay, let's take a little peek at this. All right, so we have a bunny sticker. a dot, little words, the banner, the Easter thing. I just don't see it. I don't see another scallop, and I don't see this little tab that says project number 1. Okay, so, but there is something pink back there. All right, let's look at the other page. Maybe I missed it. There's the little scallop, but I put that one on. Oh, it's up there. I see it. Okay, and then, I still don't see that little tab. Anybody? Anybody? I don't see it. Oh yeah, post extension. So, I bought an extra, I want to say 4 or 5 packs of the post extensions because I don't ever really use a ton of them, but I use a few of them, and I figured somebody would ask me if I had any, so I just bought them. So if you ever need some, let me know. But they did make them bigger. They don't. The thing that has been shared about Close to My Heart, I have no idea about this. I'm gonna just set it aside. It obviously doesn't need it. It's gorgeous just the way it is. Look at that. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. I really love it. And I'm not sure how I feel about the banner. I'm not sure I need the banner. Let me just grab something real quick. All right. I got out some of my stamp sets. Anyway, albums don't sell that well because people get into their own version of what an album should look like or whatever, and then they want to buy the same one forever, which is fine, but you know, you can go a long time without buying an album. So the album extenders were not selling very well either, and so they changed it from having, I think there were like 2 sizes. There was like a 1-inch extension and a 2 at one point. And then they cut it back to like, I think they're 1.5 now. And you're supposed, or 1 3/4, and you just replace the whole post. But it doesn't matter. I have tons of them because what happened to me was my grandmother was looking at one of my photo albums, and this was like, gosh, 20 years ago. But she was looking at one of my photo albums and she couldn't lift it. She couldn't lift it. It was so big and heavy. And so I quit overfilling them. It's so much easier to flip through an album when they're not like, 5 inches thick or whatever. Okay. If I'm going to make this bunny themed, I was thinking it would be fun to do something with the actual, Easter eggs. So I got out that egg set. I have an extra one of these if anybody's like dying for it or whatever. And I just thought it would be really fun to like put a couple of eggs on the page. Oh, so cute. And let's see. Wow. I really do kind of like the eggs on the page. And then the other thing that I did was I cut out a whole bunch of the bunnies in brown. And I just need to stamp them. The other thing I cut were just some borders. I was kind of thinking if I wasn't going to do Easter themed, it might be kind of fun to use some of these borders on the page. Like, look at the birdhouse. I mean, if you didn't have the Easter eggs there, my fingernails, okay. Like, just imagine you put the little bird houses across the top. That would be really cute, right? Or just a border, just that little border. And this one's very springy. It's like dragonflies and butterflies. That would be, I'm like, okay, this border thing is pretty cool. So, what'd you think of that card that I sent you, Heather, with the black and this stamped in black with the lime green with that avocado type green? Woo! I just love it. I loved it so much. As a matter of fact, I was kind of like, do I want to send this to Heather? It's so cool. All right. I'm gonna stamp the bunnies because I feel like I need to. I need some bunnies. I need a hoppy bunny and a standing bunny, and I'll do one baby bunny. So I'll do one of each. And we'll just see. We'll just see how that works. So I keep putting my stuff away. I have too much out. I love this set. This set is so cute. The reason I did this in the I did this in toffee paper, so it's already colored. You know, there is something super striking about that particular card. For some reason, the colors, the black with that green, I was like, wow, I really like that. I'm surprised how much I liked it. It's not a color combo, you know, I've picked up, or, you know, in the past, really. But I'm going to make a bunch of them. Look how cute. Sorry, I'm going to get my rag here. Ugh. These bunnies are adorable, just adorable. And I really feel strongly that this bunny set needed a butterfly so bad that I pulled. There's a set that was Sweet Memories that has a butterfly in it, and I pulled that butterfly out of that Sweet Memory set and I put it onto this sheet because I will not, it doesn't even go with the other, but it goes with this, and it's just weird. But oh, cute. Look at the mama and the baby bunnies. Those are really adorable. I think I might put those up here, and then I'll put these eggs back here, and these here, and then like the hopping bunny. What else do I have on here? Lots of flowers. I could put some flowers or carrots. Oh, look at the little eggs. The eggs would be a little row of eggs. Cute. The little row of flowers would be nice, or grass. I just have to think about it a minute. I just need a moment to decide how I want that to look. And then the I could even do the little, you know, flower border like along the bottom, like the bunnies hopping through it. That's an option too, but I'm not sure. Just not sure. This one's too much since I'm making it Easter themed. I'm gonna tuck that away. Wouldn't that be cute for, you know, one of the things I want to use this paper set for is that baby shower. And this would be wonderful for the baby shower. But this one, obviously, making it Easter themed. So I'm definitely going to use one of these borders. I just love it. I like this little leafy one. Whenever I have a long skinny border that's kind of sticky like that, I lay it down so it wants to go back into its normal shape and I'm not arching it, and then I pick it up with my block, and that way it will be as straight as possible. And the other thing about this that is a little bit cool is if you wanted to, let's just say you wanted to put this around the curve, you could do so. I mean, look at that. I could lay it where I want it to go and then pick it up in a curve and make it curvy on my block. So, like, and then, you know, put it around the circle. I think that's a cool thing with these stamps too. So, all right, there's Steve. He's probably wondering, are you ever coming home to eat? Hold on a minute. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Could you even hear him? He's like, hello. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna put this here. Sweet. I like it. Okay. And then I'll probably put a little bit down here also. Maybe in a curve. I like the little bit of that addition. The other thing that, the reason I'm sort of stalling a little bit is because I need to decide if I want to put a print on my Easter eggs. So it comes with an egg die, but you know, you can put a print onto your eggs, you know, and just add a little something to it. So let me grab Glacier and so if I do a tone on tone, and just stamp that. You know, if you don't like it, you can always flip it over. Oh yeah, yeah. I like it. So Steve was telling me he's running to Riggs. We have a place here in town that is like a little brewery, and it's really close to our house. And I would say maybe maybe a mile and a half at the most. It's very close. And they have this thing where you get this like jug, and they'll refill it for you. And he goes like, maybe once a week. That is so light. I'm not even sure that shows up. I'm just gonna flip it over and not call it a day. Okay. I could use a darker color, but I'm not even sure I like the print on it. All right, so that's that one. I do not have all of my I do not have all of my pictures printed, but I probably will by tomorrow. All right, let's see. I am just eyeballing this, and I'm going to do a little bit of sage. And I'm going to put this right here. Cool. Cool, cool. All right. I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to call this one done for now. I have a plan for using a few more stickers and gems, but I'm not quite, I don't know, I could put the gems on, but I'm not quite ready to totally deck this out yet. Like there's some hearts and things I can put on there. Oh yeah, and little words. Yeah, I can do that. I do really like these eggs. What do you think of the eggs? Good? Too much? I love the little bunnies. And you know, one of the things about the bunnies too is that you can shade them a little bit with pencils or with a marker. Let me grab my marker. And let me see what the light looks like. I'm just putting a little bit of shading on, not a lot. I don't want it to be colored in marker. I just want a little shading like that. And then pink. He needs a little pink nose, little pink ear. Good. And I think I might use a little white gel pen on the tail and the belly. Cute. Okay. I do like that. And I'll probably put my title up here as well. I like the eggs too. Yeah, I think the whole thing is turned out pretty cute here. I like this hopping bunny, but I'm not sure where I want to put him yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do my shading on him. Just a little. And a little pink nose. I do like this. I don't know. I might as well just attach it. It's pretty cute just that way. So call it done. All right, so in their version, they have a banner. I am doing away with the banner for now because I want to put a title up here, and I'm not sure what yet. And then they do have several of these little, you know, hopping down the bunny trail, you know, little things all over it. So I do have a few. I'm not probably going to have a ton of actual Easter pictures to use. And so since I'm using this for Easter, I kind of feel like I need to use some of the Easter themed stickers as much as possible. If I'm going to use any, I need to use the ones that have the Easter theme. There's not a ton of them on there, but there's enough. There's another hopping bunny. Hippity hoppity Easter's on its way. That is here. Oh, that's really cute right there. I'm gonna put this tape right there. And then, yeah, like that. That's cute, huh? Can you see it? All right, and then it has like the different words I'm gonna hold off on, and dots. So, all right. Okay, well, I've been on here for a couple of hours, and I've got all the cutting done for all the layouts, and this page is essentially done other than some dots. And so I may call it a night tonight for making the pages. I'll probably go ahead and finish my other pages, and hopefully I'll get some of these photos developed this weekend and get those done. Oh, so cute, man. I just love it so much. Some dots. And I really like some of these hearts. As long as they show up. So every now and then you get the stickers that just are too blendy, right? Sweet, sweet. I think I'll use a big green one. Look at this one with the hopping down the bunny trail. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I'll think about that. I might use that on a card. Okay. Ta-da! The dots, I know. And you know they sold out so quick. These dots are awesome. I always buy extras, even if I know I'm not going to use them with this collection specifically, because gosh, I pull from all those cozy up dots, the ones that are like fall colors. It's like there's a really rich kind of red, a brown, and a gold color, and oh my gosh, I use them on so many pages. I really like how they look. So sweet, sweet, sweet. Oh gosh, see, I'm looking at this going, this is going to be perfect for those baby pictures that I have. This will be great. And this one says Easter eggs. I probably, if I'm going to use it, I probably should use it on this page. But I don't want to use it just to use it, you know what I mean? So I'll think about it. And there's one here that says hippity hop. It'd be pretty easy to use those on a scrapbook or a card. So those are really the only Easter ones. That one, that one, that one, and then this hippity hoppity Easter one. So I didn't do too bad. Okay, that's it. I could work another hour or two and get all of them done, but I think I'm gonna wait and do the other ones later. I really like this, and the paper weaving was kind of fun, even though it was a little challenging, but I did it and I'm happy and the pages are awesome. So I'm gonna go have dinner. Yes. All right. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching.